Professor Rehana Habib Kant ji, Director Extension SKUAST Kashmir, Professor Harun Naik Sahab, Director Research SKUAST Kashmir, Dr. A.H. Mughal Sahab, Dean, Faculty of Forestry. And last but not the least, Dr. Khurshid Ahmed Sahab, Organizing Secretary of this conference and Head Division of Wildlife Sciences. Sir. उनका मैंने बोला he will be joining us late.
You have to address him. One second.
Honorable Chief Guest, esteemed dignitaries on and off the dais, respected fellow scientists, scholars, and enthusiasts. A very good morning to you all. This is Dr. Umbreen Hamdani, and on behalf of all of us, I welcome you to the second International Conference on Hangul and other threatened ungulate conservation, being held at SKUAST Kashmir. This conference brings together great minds from across the globe to channel their intellect towards the conservation of the magnificent Hangul and other species. We begin the day to the cheerful tune of the SKUAST Kashmir University Tarana. May I request the team to play the University Tarana.
तो गुल बार है तो
अर्ज़े वतन है कुल्दे बरी गुल पोश तू गुल बार है तू अर्ज़े वतन
तख्लीक के रोशन सरचश्मे
आबाद बातिन में तेरे, तख्लीक के रोशन सरचश्मे।
वो फसलें हूँ गुल हूँ या फन, ज़रख़ैज़ है तू ज़रकार है तू।
अर्ज़े वतन है खुल्दे बरी, गुलपोश है तू गुलबार है तू, है अर्ज़े वतन।
अफ़कार के जलवे बिखरे हुए,
अफ़कार के जलवे बिखरे हुए, अफ़कार के जलवे बिखरे हुए।
जो शब को फरोज़ा रहता है वो नूर का एक शहकार है तू।
है अर्ज़े वतन है खुल्दे बरी, गुलपोश है तू गुलबार है तू, है अर्ज़े वतन।
वतन है खुल्दे बरी, हम तेरे तराने गाते हैं,
हम तेरे तराने गाते हैं।
जो लालो गुहर है ज़ेरे ज़मीं, बालाए ज़मीं ले आते हैं,
बालाए ज़मीं ले आते हैं।
हम धान के पक्के खोशों से कोसार के दिल बरमाते हैं।
अर्ज़े वतन है खुल्दे बरी, गुलपोश है तू गुलबार है तू, है अर्ज़े वतन।
दानिशगहे फितरत में पल कर राज़ नमू पा जाते हैं,
हम राज़ नमू पा जाते हैं।
तहक़ीक़ से तेरी फितरत की फितरत पे तसर्रुफ़ पाते हैं,
फितरत पे तसर्रुफ़ पाते हैं।
के सर को उगा कर मिट्टी से हम मौज नफ़स महकाते हैं,
हम मौज नफ़स महकाते हैं।
बेआब गियावीरानों में हम शाख शजर लहराते हैं।
अर्ज़े वतन है खुल्दे बरी, गुलपोश है तू गुलबार है तू, है अर्ज़े वतन, है अर्ज़े वतन।
As a mark of our respect, I request Professor Haroon H. Naik Saab, Director Research, SKUAST Kashmir, to please felicitate our Honorable Vice Chancellor, SKUAST Kashmir. It's a very great occasion for all of us, and thank you very much for being a part of it. I also request you, sir, to please felicitate Janab B.M. Sharma Sahab, former PCCF and Chief Wildlife Warden Ladakh, and current Principal Secretary Cultural Department. I beg your pardon, I'm sorry. Thank you, sir. I also request you to kindly felicitate Janab B.M. Sharma Sahab, Principal Secretary Culture Department and former PCCF and Chief Wildlife Warden Ladakh. Thank you, sir, for sparing the time and for all your efforts that you put into wildlife conservation and other departments of Jammu and Kashmir. I also request you, sir, to present a commemorative token to Ms. Sheetal Nandaji, Commissioner Secretary to the Government, Department of Forest, Ecology and Environment, for her gracious presence. We truly appreciate your presence here today, ma'am. Thank you very much. May I request you, sir, to kindly also felicitate Dr. Susana Gonzalez, co-chair IUCN Species Survival Commission, their specialist group. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us all the way. We really appreciate your presence here today. And we also appreciate all the efforts you put into species conservation. Thank you very much. Sir, you are also requested to kindly felicitate Dr. M.K. Ranjit Singh Saab, former Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change. Thank you, sir. Your contributions across your illustrious career are acknowledged and deeply respected. Thank you so much, sir. I request you, sir, to also present a token of gratitude to Dr. G.S. Bhardwaj, Director, Wildlife Institute of India. Thank you, sir. Your presence here today emphasizes the importance of conservation and the effort we can put together. Professor Nayak is also requested to kindly present a commemorative memento to Professor Stefano Focardi, Senior Scientist, National Research Council, Italy. Thank you, sir, for coming all the way from Italy for this important and momentous occasion. I hope together we can build a better world for one and all. May I also request you, sir, thank you, sir. May I request you also, sir, to kindly present a token of affection to Dr. Claude Fischer, Professor, University of Applied Sciences of Western Switzerland. Switzerland is often considered, Kashmir is considered to be the Switzerland of India. So I hope, sir, you find it like home here. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. May I now request Professor Khurshid Ahmed, Director, I beg your pardon, I request Professor Khurshid Ahmed, Head Division of Wildlife Sciences, to kindly felicitate Professor Haroon H. Nayak Sahab, Director Research, SKUAST, Kashmir. May I also request you, sir, to please felicitate Professor Rehana Habib Kantji, Director Extension, SKUAST, Kashmir. You are also requested, sir, to kindly present a commemorative token to Professor A.H. Mughal, Dean, Faculty of Forestry. Thank you very much, one and all. We really appreciate your presence here. I now request Professor Khurshid Ahmed, Head Division of Wildlife Sciences and the Organizing Secretary of this conference, to deliver the formal welcome address.
Honorable Lieutenant Governor Shri Manoj Sinha ji, who has unfortunately not been able to join us because of some last moment exigency. Worthy Vice Chancellor, Honorable Janab Professor Nazir Ahmed Ganai Sahab, Principal Secretary Culture, a former PCCF and Chief Wildlife Warden Ladakh, Shri B.M. Sharma ji, Commissioner Secretary Forests, Srimati Sheetal Nanda ji, Shri Sarvesh Rai ji, PCCF and Chief Wildlife Warden J&K, who is about to join us soon. Dr. J.S. Bhardwaj, Director, Wildlife Institute of India. Dr. M.K. Ranjit Singh, former Secretary, Government of India, Ministry of Environment and Forests. Our esteemed eminent experts on the dais, Dr. Susana Gonzalez, the Chair, IUCN Deer Specialist Group, Dr. Stefano Focardi, and Dr. Claude Fisher. Our Director Research, Professor Harun Naik, Director Extension, Professor Rihana Habib, Dean Faculty of Forestry, Professor Arshid Hussain Mughal, our extreme expert delegates from within the country and abroad, policy planners, officers from the Forest, Wildlife, Animal and Sheep Husbandry departments, all officers from SKUAST Kashmir, industrial partners, faculty, scientists, academicians, young researchers and students, participants from India and abroad, colleagues and students. We have consistently sought to address this critical issue since 2009, when we at SKUAST Kashmir, with the support of IUCN, organized the first international conference on Hangul conservation at SKICC Srinagar. Building on that legacy, we are proud to host this second landmark international conference on Hangul and other threatened ungulates conservation under the banner of the International Support and Alliance for the Central Asian Red Deer, in partnership with leading national and international institutions. This conference comes at a decisive moment, addressing the conservation of Hangul alongside its close relatives, the red deer, Bukhara deer, Jharkhand deer, and other threatened ungulates across the world. Over 3 days, the conference will bring together global experts, policymakers, practitioners to deliberate on 6 thematic areas, including population and movement ecology, health, genetics and forensics, conservation, breeding and reintroduction, climate change adaptation, policy and technology innovations, and community engagement. By integrating cutting-edge tools, genetic monitoring, AI, ML-based surveillance, camera trapping, habitat restoration, and assisted reproductive techniques, we aim to forge adaptive strategies and a comprehensive action plan for the long-term survival of Hangul and other threatened ungulates, particularly those endemic to the Himalayas. This conference is not only a scientific dialogue, but also a collective call to continue to thrive as a symbol of resilience and conservation success. We are truly privileged to be joined today by a galaxy of visionary leaders and distinguished global experts from USA, Canada, South America, Italy, Switzerland, Turkey, UAE, Central Asia, Nepal, and Bhutan, and the eminent scientists, researchers, conservationists, policy planners, and industry representatives from across the country. And I extend my heartfelt welcome to each one of you. We are especially honored by the participation of President IUCN, Her Excellency Princess of Abu Dhabi, Ms. Razan Al Mubarak, legendary wildlife biologist and conservationist Dr. George Schaller from USA, along with other eminent experts. Before I proceed further, I would kindly request Chief Wildlife Warden, Principal Chief Wildlife, PCCF Wildlife, Chief Wildlife Warden Sarvesh Raiji, to kindly share the dais. At the outset, it gives me a great pleasure to welcome worthy Vice Chancellor, Professor Nazir Ahmed Ganai, for his visionary leadership and guidance, and for making it possible to organize this grand international event. Also, take pride in welcoming the Principal Secretary Culture, Shri B.M. Sharma ji, who was former PCCF and Chief Wildlife Warden Ladakh, who has been very gracious and supportive to this initiative. A warm welcome also to Srimati Sheetal Nandaji and Shri Sarvesh Raiji, PCCF Chief Wildlife Warden, J&K, whose work and leadership have always been aligned with the people-centered development and effective governance. Your support and guidance have been pivotal to the resounding success of our initiatives. We are truly honored with your gracious presence in this event. I also extend my gratitude and welcome to all our distinguished experts, delegates from across the country and abroad. Your participation enriches this conference with diverse perspective, innovative ideas, and tested models of conservation. A warm welcome to our legendary conservationist, Shri M.K. Ranjit Singh ji, who has been a torch bearer for the conservation in the country, and who has been a source of inspiration for all of us, and who has been behind the establishment of or the Wildlife Protection Act in the country. A warm welcome to you, sir, for making this possible. A warm welcome as to our policy planners, officers from Forest and Wildlife Department, and all the officers from SKUAST Kashmir. Your support, both on the ground in the policy, is the backbone of every conservation story success. We thank you sincerely for standing shoulder to shoulder with us in this shared mission. And I conclude with this conviction: the destiny of Hangul and other threatened ungulates is not matter of chance. It rests in our hands, shaped by the choice we make. If we choose unity or division, knowledge or silence, and courage or complacency, these magnificent creatures will not merely endure, they will flourish, standing as a timeless symbol of resilience and hope for generations yet to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for that warm welcome. Before we proceed further, may I request Professor Haroon H. Naik Saab to kindly felicitate the Chief Wildlife Warden, Shri Sarvesh Raiji, who has just joined us. Thank you, sir. Despite your busy schedule, you could make it and join us here today for this important event. Together we do pledge to make a difference, to cultivate our heritage and to preserve it for the future generations. Thank you very much for being a part of it. Thank you so much, sir. We have a very special message from Her Highness, the Princess of Abu Dhabi, Miss Razan Al Mubarak. Miss Mubarak is also the President of International Union for the Conservation of Nature. She is the first leader from West Asia to hold this prestigious position. She is also the founding director of the Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund. The technical team is requested to play her recorded message.
It is my great pleasure to extend my support to the second international conference. It is my great pleasure to extend my support to the second international conference on Hangul and other threatened ungulates, organized by the Sher-e Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology of Kashmir. The conservation of the critically endangered Hangul deer, found only in limited range in Kashmir, represents one of the most important species recovery challenges in Asia. The Hangul and other threatened ungulates face ecological pressures compounded by habitat loss, poaching, disease, and the impacts of climate change. Responding to these challenges requires sound science, long-term commitment, and coordinated action across borders. This conference's emphasis on sharing research, building networks, and fostering collaboration amongst experts, practitioners, and policymakers can help advance efforts to protect these species and the ecosystems on which they depend. Such cooperation aligns with the mission of the IUCN, which brings together government, civil society, indigenous peoples organizations, and experts and scientists to address the world's most pressing conservation challenges. The conservation of the Hangul and other threatened ungulates is a cause of global significance, and I commend the organizers for dedicating their expertise, their energy to this important cause. By convening a diverse group of stakeholders, the conference provides an opportunity to raise awareness, address urgent challenges, strengthen science-based conservation strategies, and contribute to the global effort to halt biodiversity loss. I wish you fruitful discussions, innovative ideas, and lasting partnerships that will benefit threatened ungulates and the communities that share their landscapes.
Figures in the history of wildlife conservation. His illustrious career spans more than 6 decades, during which he studied the most remarkable species across the globe, including Himalayan tigers, mountain gorillas, and giant pandas, only to name a few. He has a message for us too. Let's hear it.
Thank you for inviting me to this very important conference. I'm honored. You're dealing with animals that I spent years observing in the wild, and they all need attention because you're talking about deer. Well, people pay attention to pandas and tigers, but the deer and other ungulates need attention worldwide, because I've seen a decline in some of these species, such as the Tibetan antelope, over the years because they are harvested for meat. They're poached for their skins and bones, for medicine. They have all sorts of local uses, and there's, in many places, no control whatsoever. So I'm lucky. I had a chance to work overseas. For example, I wrote a book called Mountain Monarchs, Wild Sheep and Goats of the Himalaya. And I spent 2 years doing that. And I saw which species were rare, which were fairly common, what their problems were. This was mainly in Pakistan and India. Then I did another study on an area in India, the Kanha National Park, which is a beautiful place. And there I again studied several species of deer in detail, as well as the tiger who preyed and ate the deer. So it gave me a wonderful overview of a local community of animals. I, of course, also went for brief visits. For example, the Hangul, or Kashmir stag. I last visited in 1968, and unfortunately I have not been back since to see if any are left, because they were very heavily hunted. And so, moving around the world, you have a talk on ungulates. There are so many of them, but we don't have a good summary of the status of a lot of the species. So this is what I hope the biologists in the various countries will do, to leave a record for the future of what there was.
The mountain monarchs as well as the deer and the tiger, and I'm sure some of you have already read it. Moving on, Dr. Ranjit Singh Ji, former Secretary, MOEFCC, and a renowned conservationist, author, policymaker, and the principal architect of India's Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Is here with us today, and it is really our pleasure and honor to host him. Therefore, it is also my deep pleasure to welcome him for some opening remarks.
Distinguished colleagues on the dais and friends. It is a great privilege extended to me to be here and to participate in this conference. In a democracy like ours, nature conservation can come about only with the support and the understanding of the people. The government can do that much, and in democracy the government follows the dictates of the people, and if the dictates of the people do not endorse conservation, then the politicians are not going to support it. And therefore, a conference like this is of great significance, and I compliment the Vice-Chancellor and Dr. Khurshid of the University of Kashmir and his entire team for organizing this splendid and very timely and important conference. The importance of this can be outlined also, if I may say so. The last time I was here in this conference hall was almost 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, when we had the conference, international conference on the snow leopard. And that preceded the launching of the snow leopard conservation scheme, the snow leopard project, which unfortunately hasn't had the same limelight as the Project Tiger. But it was here that it was launched, and I hope this conference enables the launching of something else. It's just not the saving of the animals. You cannot save a wild animal unless you can save its habitat. The habitat can survive without the wild animal. The wild animal only can survive in the habitat, and the only other option is to have it in zoos and safari parks, which is not an option. And what is more and most important and lost sight of is that the animals enable to save something far more valuable than the animal itself, which is the habitat. And this is extremely and even more increasingly important in the present era of climate change. We have seen what is happening in the Himalayas. We do not, what happened even in Kishtwar the other day. We do not want that to happen elsewhere. And to save that, what was, and I happened to be member secretary of the team which set off Project Tiger, we selected the tiger not where the maximum tiger were. We selected where we could select different habitats of the tiger. And in the same way, we can save the mountains and their mammals and their animals. The animals are magnificent, but the mountains are even more important because they are the source of water. And they can give sustenance, and the most important commodity that nature gives today next to oxygen is potable water. We have a magnificent example of Dachigam. Few people know the history of Dachigam, and I'll take just a minute over it. There were 10 villages there, Dachigam. They were evicted 115 years ago, approximately, but the process took a time. The last village was removed in the just about the time I was born, 87 years ago, and that was for providing water, drinking water, to the growing population of Srinagar. I first came here in 1956 and I couldn't believe my eyes. The dramatic recovery of the habitat, even in an area which is Palearctic practically, biome, and you couldn't see that thing. Dachigam saved the Hangul, and now the Hangul is saving Dachigam. The two are synonymous, and of course, it's a state animal of Kashmir. Dachigam gave me the inspiration that when I was collector of Mandla and the Barasinga were down to 64, the world population, the central Barasinga, I was driven by that die-hard thing कि अगर वो कश्मीर में हो सकता है तो कान्हा में क्यों नहीं हो सकता है. And I removed the first two villages ever to be removed out of in any national park of India, which I regard is a landmark of my life. And that set into motion the translocation of 23 more villages went from Kanha, but elsewhere also. But it started off from Dachigam. Therefore, and in my book, Mountain Mammals of the World, I analyzed, I came to a conclusion that there were 119 large mammal taxa, species and subspecies. At that time, I then analyzed how many are in India and how many in the Himalayas and in Kashmir. And I regard Kashmir not just Jammu and Kashmir Valley, but of course Kishtwar, Bhadarwah, Ladakh, Aksai Chin, Haramosh, Baltistan, Astor, Hunza, Gilgit, Yasin. 28 of those species were found in this area, of the 119. 1/4. 11 more in the Himalayas. There is no place in the world like Kashmir, and there is no mountain chain in the world like the Himalaya. It's the shortest of the great mountain ranges of the world, barely 6,000 running kilometers. The highest mountain range in the world, and a lot of it is uninhabitable because of the height. The longest mountain chain in the world is the Andes of South America, 21,000 running kilometers from the Cape of Good Hope to the top of the continent. There are two real mountain mammals in that Andes range. I have seen 6 in one long days of walking and marching in one nala of Ladakh, Pobrang. That is the kind of biodiversity we have, and that is the kind of animal wealth we have, which we do not appreciate. We only know the tiger and perhaps the snow leopard. What about the others? Aren't they important? Aren't they magnificent? Aren't they iconic? And they need to be preserved, and what is more important, as I said, by preserving them you will preserve the habitat. And therefore, I would like to think that this is the effort that we should be making, and this is what matters. And lastly, for the benefit of those you may not have heard, this often repeated, I think, about the glory of Kashmir. Agar firdos you haminast, zaminast you zaminast, you zaminast. If there is a paradise on earth, it is here, it is here, it is here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for those wonderful words. Indeed, there is no place like Kashmir, and it is our responsibility to nurture it. We have yet another special guest with us here today, Dr. Susana Gonzalez, a distinguished conservation biologist and molecular geneticist. Dr. Gonzalez is the co-chair IUCN Species Survival Commission Deer Specialist Group. We invite you, ma'am, to share your brilliant experiences and insights with us.
Thank you very much for this great opportunity. First of all, I want to thank a special thanks to Dr. Khurshid at the university for hosting this important event. This conference, I think it would be a highlight to see what is the situation with the Hangul deer, this flagship species that needs our attention to save the habitat, and with this species, other ungulates also will be in this same umbrella. As Dr. Rassam said in the video, IUCN is happy to be sponsoring this meeting, and we need more people engaged in the conservation of the ungulates and the deer species. Dr. Schaller said that deer needs to be our attention. Dr. Schaller and Dr. Rashid were our mentors of my generation, but now we have a lot of students in this auditorium, and this is a great opportunity to engage more students, more new field biologists, to save this species for saving the planet. This is not only a concern for a species, is saving this species, our planet will be better, our humanity will be better. And these moments of interchange with the people and think for positive actions to save a species, we need to capitalize and to move to have a better planet, a better world, and I hope in a few years we can say that the situation of the Hangul is improving, and of course, for having this goal, we need to have all together. In this program, there is a lot of talks that will be an inspiration for future generations of conservationists. Again, many thanks, Dr. Courchette, for inviting me to be part of this meeting, and I hope and I wish a great success of this.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Indeed, truly to make a difference, we must all come together and engage, and events such as these are very, very crucial. It is my privilege to introduce next and invite Dr. Gobind Sagar Bhardwaj, Director, Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun. Dr. Bhardwaj, in a career spanning over 3 decades, has served in key leadership roles, including Field Director, Ranthambore and Sariska Tiger Reserves, and Chief Conservator of Forests and Additional Director General of Forests. I humbly request you for an address, sir.
On the dais, respected my colleagues, all colleagues, distinguished guests, esteemed delegates, and fellow conservationists, students and researchers. A very good morning to all of you. I am very delighted to be here today at the 2nd International Conference on Hangul and other threatened ungulates conservation. At the outset, I would like to acknowledge the rich biological diversity of the region and its importance for the preservation, for our coming generations. The Kashmir stag, which is also known as Hangul, is actually an iconic species that holds a very special place in the hearts of not only of Kashmir, but also for all the citizens of the country. Ungulates, including the Hangul, play a very vital role, not only maintaining the balance of ecosystems, but they also serve as indicators of our forest ecosystems. However, as of today, we are facing many of the ungulate species are facing threats from habitat loss, poaching, and retaliatory killings from human-wildlife conflict issues, and also, of course, from climate change. Over the past decades, conservation efforts have made a very significant progress in protecting ungulate populations with their habitat. However, much work has to be done in future too. Here we have gathered here to discuss the conservation of some of the most majestic and ecologically significant species in the world. This conference provides a platform for experts, for scientists, for researchers, and the practitioners, forest officers, to share their knowledge, experiences, and best practices in ungulate conservation. As the Director of Wildlife Institute of India, and let me share something about WII. The Wildlife Institute of India was established in 1982 under the Ministry of Environment and Forest as an autonomous body. It has evolved as a leading center in wildlife conservation, in wildlife research, training, and advisory role. Today, we are recognized not only nationally, but also internationally as one of the premier institutions in wildlife conservation, playing a critical role in generating scientific knowledge, building professional capacity, and also providing evidence-based guidance to support the nation's conservation efforts. Our mission remains steadfast to nurture the development of wildlife science and promote its application in conservation. And that is aligned with very culture and our socio-economic context. We have long-standing collaborations with not only national but also international agencies. The Institute has fostered academic exchange, supported field research, and helped build a collaboration capacity of next generation for wildlife scientists and students. These collaborations with international and national agencies, institutions have resulted in significant contributions towards science, helping in informed decisions for management. Our commitment to conservation of endangered flora and fauna of Kashmir remains as a topmost priority. We stay committed to conserving wildlife Kashmir through building and strengthening capacity of professionals in the region. I am pleased to announce that WII has already signed an MOU with Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agriculture, Science and Technology to nurture the younger minds in the valley towards wildlife conservation. Through this conference, we aim to discuss the latest research, conservation efforts on Hangul and other ungulate species to identify key challenges and opportunities in ungulate conservation, foster collaboration and knowledge sharing among stakeholders, and to develop strategies for ecosystem conservation and management of ungulate populations. As we got on this 3-day conference, I urge you to all engage in meaningful discussions, share your expertise, and work together to develop an effective solution for these beautiful animals. Let us strive to make a very positive impact on the conservation of these magnificent creatures who are the top animals for our forest ecosystem. I wish this conference a great success and look forward to the outcomes that will derive further actions in conservation. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. Indeed, a lot has been done, but a lot needs to be done, and together we can. On that note, I request Dr. Hina Wani, representing the Division of Wildlife Sciences, to continue with the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ambreen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Shri Sarvesh Rai Ji, Principal Chief Conservator Forests, Wildlife and Chief Wildlife Warden, Jammu and Kashmir. Sir has been at the forefront of wildlife conservation, human-wildlife conflict management, and environment stewardship in the New Union Territory. Sir, we are honored to have you here, and we are eager to hear your remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Dr. M.K. Ranjit Singh Ji, IAS, former Secretary, Dr. Sujana Gonsalves, IUC and Chair, Deer Specialist Group, Mr. Bhardwaj, my colleague, Director, Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, Madam Sheetal Nanda Ji, Commission Secretary, Forest, Sri Bijmohan Sharma Ji, Principal Secretary, Department of Culture, Dr. Khurshid, researchers, students, wildlife officers. I start with congratulating the team of Dr. Khurshid for organizing such a wonderful program. In fact, it's going to be a major milestone in the history of Hangul conservation and conservation of other deer species. The deliberations here, I hope they will help us, guide us further in taking wildlife protection conservation measures. I would like to assure you that all these animals, wild animals, are in absolutely safe hands, and they are doing very well. There is no decline in population of any major species, thanks to efforts of people like Dr. Ranjit Singh Ji, which I heard him, and sir, your efforts have gone into, contributed to, I'll say, in a very big way, conservation of all the species here. In Jammu and Kashmir, we have about 20,000 square kilometer of area under forest cover, which is close to 50% of total geographical area of Jammu and Kashmir. and of that, about 1/4, about 5,000 square kilometer, is under network of protected area, that is national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, conservation reserves, having different degree of protection levels. Hangul has a very special place here, and the place Dachigam National Park, which harbors Hangul population of about 325 as per the latest survey, is very close to this place. I think all the delegates and members here encourage everyone to pay a visit to the national park. It's absolutely beautiful national park. And of late, what we have done is that apart from implementation of all conservation measures like delineation of their boundaries, complete protection, no encroachment in wildlife areas, all those things have been fully achieved. Now the latest thing is that we have notified eco-sensitive zones, and that ensure that eco-sensitive zone concept that ensures a very vast contiguous landscape which provides shelter and protection to these species. This Dachigam National Park, Overa Aru Wildlife Sanctuary and Thajwas Wildlife Sanctuary together make a huge landscape, and in this landscape I'm sure that Hangul will not only thrive, its population will grow further. Similarly, for other ungulate species like Markhor, again we have a huge landscape. Kajinag National Park, Limbar Lachipura Wildlife Sanctuary put together. We have notified the wildlife eco-sensitive zone for them. We have very healthy population of Markhor, about 200 plus in Kajinag landscape. There is another landscape, Hirpura and Tatakoti Wildlife Sanctuary. These sanctuaries also provide a very good conducive environment for Markhor population. Similarly, we have other species, iconic species like musk deer. We have a national park called Kishtwar Hayato National Park. It is an area of about 2,000 square kilometers, huge national park, pristine landscape with meadows and glaciers and pastures. And we have a very good population of musk deer, snow leopard. The latest survey that we did last year gave us a figure of 9 snow leopards in Kishtwar Hayato National Park, as confirmed by your camera trap techniques. So I just want to make an initial point that all these species are doing very well. There is no serious concern regarding decline of any population of any major species, and it's very the Himalayan landscape overall is very rich and in biodiversity. We provide encouragement to researchers. We receive regular requests from SKUAST also and from other universities also to do research in wildlife areas. We encourage them, we provide them all the support that we can, and we are getting very regular research studies. And all the studies point to very healthy kind of protection measures, protection environment. We don't allow even hunting of migratory birds. Just few days back, we arrested some poachers who were hunting migratory birds. So the protection level here, I can assure you, is very high. Nowhere in the world you provide that kind of protection. That's the kind of protection that we provide here. So rest assured, and with these words, I congratulate the team once again and wish all the best. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. It is my great honor to extend a very warm welcome to Ms. Sheetal Nanda, Commissioner Secretary to the Government, Department of Forest, Ecology and Environment. Ma'am has been playing a key role in steering policies and initiatives aimed at sustainable development and environment conservation. It is my pleasure, ma'am, to invite you for a welcome address.
First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to the SKUAST for inviting me in this important event, which is not only important for SKUAST itself, but for our department also. And I'm glad to be a part of this today. Dignitaries on the dais, including Dr. M.K. Rajsen, Ranjit Singh, Dr. Susanna Gonzalez, Dr. G.S. Bhardwaj, PCCF Wildlife, Shri Sarvesh Rai ji, Principal Secretary Culture, Shri Sharma ji, and all the other scientists, Dr. Claude Fisher, Dr. Stephen, and all those who are present in the auditorium today, including officers and students. Such events hold a very important place in creating awareness and attitude of protection towards our natural resources and wildlife especially. And like Dr. Ranjit Singh said, if people don't come together to support conservation, it will never happen. Because there are priorities, so many priorities, and therefore, in that, the conservation efforts somewhere get lost. But if we, as the protectors of biodiversity, come together and push for such efforts as is happening today through this conference, I'm sure we can make a difference, a remarkable difference in how our wildlife and biodiversity is protected. The Hangul, or the Kashmir red deer as it is called, is actually the Union Territory animal also. But it is not only the Union Territory animal, it is actually a symbol of our heritage, our natural heritage. It is a critically endangered species under the IUCN Red List, and it is also protected under the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. We have been making a lot of efforts, and we are committed to continue our efforts in protecting this endangered species, and it is because of this, the efforts of the wildlife wing of the Forest Department of J&K, especially under the leadership of Shri Sarvesh Rai, that we have been able to record an increase in their population from just 127 in 2008 to 323 as per the 2025 census. Also, there is a Hangul breeding center at Shigarga that has been revived in Tral. It was in existence but dormant since 2008, but now it has been made fully operational, and we are looking at in situ breeding there so that the population of Hangul is further increased in J&K. As already mentioned by Dr. Sarvesh Rai, Dachigam and its adjoining places are being fully protected as the habitat for Hangul. And also, already mentioned, a lot of effort was made way back during the Maharaja time when the Dachigam area was cleared of all human population, and I'm sure a lot of you would have visited it and you would be knowing that it is with almost zero human interference, and therefore it is in the purest form of habitat for the Hangul and the other species that are there. Also, we have a lot of other mountain ungulates, including the Kashmir musk deer, the markhor, which has been mentioned several times earlier, the Asiatic ibex, Himalayan goral, and Himalayan tar. And the department is also making efforts to ensure an increase in their population as well as protection of their habitat. The markhor is found only, like the Hangul, only in J&K in India, and Therefore, it becomes very important that concerted efforts are made to protect both these species. And as part of that, the Kazinak landscape has been notified as a national park. And again, Hirpura and Tatakutti wildlife sanctuaries also have sizable population of this species. The Kishtwar High Altitude National Park is home to the global snow leopard, and it has been featured on the global snow leopard distribution map. It also has the population of Asiatic ibex, musk deer and goral. We are also getting reports of the existence of Hangul in the Kishtwar High Altitude Park. And therefore, we are also making concerted efforts again to ensure that Kishtwar High Altitude National Park is also maintained as well as Dachigam as the habitat for these species. We have also notified 10 eco-sensitive zones around the protected areas. And the monitoring committees have been formed under the leadership of divisional commissioners and district collectors so that we ensure sustainable development in these areas adjoining our parks, national parks and conservation reserves. I must inform this August gathering that Dachigam National Park has been adjudged as the top performing protected area in India in the recent management effectiveness evaluation conducted by the Wildlife Institute of India under MOEFCC. And like already mentioned by several other eminent people here, I would reiterate that any conservation policy effort has to be a combination of science, participatory governance, and adaptation with time. So I would call upon all the eminent scientists and all the stakeholders who are present here today to join hands and ensure that the Hangul and other threatened ungulates like the markhor and other such species are protected, their habitat is protected, because like Dr. Ranjit Singh said, without the habitat the animals won't survive, and without the animals the habitat won't survive. So we have to work on the habitats of these species and also ensure that their reproduction is either in a controlled way or in a natural way is ensured. I'm really proud to share this dais with all the eminent people here today, and I once again thank SKUAST for this opportunity. I would also request the Vice Chancellor SKUAST to please share whatever takeaways are there from this conference with the department for any actionable points that we could put our efforts in, we could contribute to. And I hope that we will keep on having such conferences and such events in which people from different walks of life come together and put their heads together and brainstorm on how to protect not only these endangered species but also our entire biodiversity, wildlife and their habitat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm delighted to introduce Shri Brij Mohan Sharma ji, Principal Secretary, Department of Culture, Government of Jammu and Kashmir. Sir brings a wealth of administrative experiences to his vital role in preserving and prioritizing our rich culture and heritage. Sir, we are honored to have you here, and I invite you on the dais for an address.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sher Kashmir University of Agriculture, Sciences and Technology, Kashmir, Professor Nazir Ahmed, eminent wildlifer and conservationist, Dr. Ranjit Singh, former Secretary, Government of India, Ministry of Environment and Forest, Dr. Sushana, IUCN Chair, Deer Specialist, Dr. Bardwaj, Director, Wildlife Institute of India, Madam Sheetal Landa, Commissioner Secretary to Government, Department of Forest, J&K Government, Shri Svesh Rai, the Chief Wildlife Warden and the Principal Chief Conservator of Forests, J&K, Dr. Jashveer Bhatnagar, my friend, dignitaries sitting in the dais and off the dais, and the officers, the wildlife specialists who have joined online also, wildlifers, scientists, forest officers, faculty members, and dear students. Good afternoon to everybody. It's a proud privilege to be part of this second international conference on Hangul and other threatened ungulates for their conservation, for which I must compliment the Honorable Vice Chancellor and Professor Khurshid for organizing this workshop. I must also say that the theme and the papers selected for different technical sessions, they have been done very meticulously. And there are many, many issues which are required to be addressed for the conservation of ungulates in this part of Northwest Himalayas. And I'm confident that this workshop will address all those issues, most of those issues. If we look into this northwestern part of Himalaya, including cold desert, it has distinction of having the richest biodiversity in this part of Himalayas. There are at least 30 mammal species which occur here, for which this northwestern part of Himalaya is the habitat, which have legal protection under Wildlife Protection Act. They figure in Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act. 30 species, and this distinction must be only, it must be not for many other states also. 30 species having Schedule 1 status and legal protection. It is amazing. There are many, many issues linked with the conservation and protection of the wildlife in this particular part of Himalayas. And very many species, they are at the verge of extinction. If you go to Ladakh, we see there are many endemic species also. For example, Tibetan antelope is an amazing ungulate. We find that ungulate in Dolat Begoldi. Tibetan gazelle, hardly 30 to 40 species are existing as on date in Kalak Tartar area of cold desert. But these issues are required to be addressed in these conferences, and major challenges for the protection of these amazing wildlife species. These include unregulated development, so-called sustainable development, unregulated tourism, bifurcation of habitat fragmentation, degradation of the habitat, massive road infrastructure being constructed in passing through the wildlife areas, and diversion of forest land also is a serious issue. I am very much confident that the proceedings of the conference shall bring about some viable and important recommendations for the policymakers and the government to take steps recommended for the conservation and protection of our natural heritage to ensure the ecological balance of this fragile region and ecological services for the whole mankind. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It gives me immense pleasure to announce the release of the abstract book for the second international conference on Hangul and other threatened ungulates conservation. This volume brings together valuable research contributions, insights, and perspectives from the visionaries, scholars, practitioners, and conservationists across the globe. May I request our esteemed chief guest and distinguished dignitaries to kindly release the abstract book. I would again request the dignitaries to kindly honor us with the release of the vision document of the Institute of Mountain Wildlife Sciences, SKUAST, Kashmir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Visual storytelling has always been a powerful medium to connect people with nature and inspire action. In our collective journey of conservation, we are proud to unveil the documentaries on Hangul and Markhor, the two magnificent species that stand as a symbol of rich biodiversity and natural heritage of our region. These films not only showcase their ecological significance, but also highlight the urgent need for their conservation, inspiring collective responsibility to safeguard them for the future generations. These films were filmed by Dhritiman Mukherjee and produced by Round Glass Sustain. We acknowledge the Jammu and Kashmir Wildlife Protection Department for their collaboration and cooperation. I request the technical team to please play the documentaries. And I would like to call Mr. Dhritiman Mukherjee on the dais.
Kashmir. Some call it heaven on earth. Here, stunning mountains, lakes, and valleys meet the warmth and strength of its people. Away from the bustle of the cities, in the Zabarwan range lies a treasure trove of India's wilderness. Dachigam National Park. This 141 square kilometer protected area is a diverse habitat and an extraordinary biodiversity hotspot. And there is one special animal here that is found nowhere else on earth. They are endemically unique to Dachigam and the pride of this valley, the Kashmir stag, the Hangul. In autumn, the forests echo with loud calls of the Hangul. It's breeding season. The most active time for Hanguls. Mature males use loud calls to attract females. Each trying to outdo the other to prove their fitness and dominance to their mates. They spend full days battling each other and pursuing the ladies. Nights are more relaxed, spent at watering holes. These sites attract many different species for a drink and a lick of salt. Dr. Khurshid Ahmad has been working on Hanguls for decades. Earlier, they were thought to be the subspecies of European red deer, but Dr. Khurshid's study have proved otherwise.
Our studies have indicated that it is more related to the Bactrian deer than European red deer, and based on the mitochondrial genetic study that we have conducted, we have resolved the taxonomic status of Hangul in the family Cervidae, and based on that has been recognized by IUCN, and the Hangul has now been considered as a species with Bactrian and Yarkand as two other subspecies.
A mature male Hangul sports impressive antlers, at times boasting of as many as 16 points, each point a sign of his dominance. In the summer, they shed their antlers as they move to higher altitudes. By autumn, in time for mating season, they come to the lower altitudes and the antlers regrow. Dachigam's ecosystem is perfectly suited for the Hangul. The woodlands provide shelter, especially at night, and the grasslands are their foraging ground by day.
This particular habitat that you see along is one of the most preferred habitats of Hangul. The grass that you see around, you can see the indigofera here and isodon. These are some of the most preferred shrubs of the Hangul is using during most of the seasons.
Autumn gives way to a tough winter. The higher ranges of Dachigam are snowbound and inaccessible, forcing the Hanguls to come lower to look for food. But even after the snow melts, there is not enough grass to feed on. Once, Hanguls roamed free from Kishtwar to Gurez, near the northern line of control. In 1900, there were nearly 5,000 of them recorded. By 1947, there were less than half left. In the decades that followed, hunting, habitat loss, and political turmoil in Kashmir cut deeper into their numbers. Today, around 350 remain, confined to its dream to see Hanguls roam far and wide in the Kashmir valleys again. With the right effort, that dream may just come true someday.
It gives us immense pride to introduce our Vice Chancellor, Professor Nazir Ahmed Ganai Sir, an inspiring academic leader, a visionary reformer, and a dynamic force behind the progress of SKUAST Kashmir. Under his stewardship, the university has scaled new heights in research, innovation, and global collaborations, making it a recognized hub of excellence in agriculture, sciences, and technology. His steadfast dedication to youth empowerment, sustainable development, and policy reforms of national significance has established him as a guiding spirit of our institution. Sir, I warmly invite you to deliver the address. So we are eager to hear your insights.
Thank you, dear. Our Honorable Lieutenant Governor, whom we always host with pride and privilege, could not make it today to this event for health reasons. We send our best wishes to our Honorable Lieutenant Governor for his good health. With me on the dais, we have the Principal Secretary Culture, Shri B.M. Sharma ji, the Commissioner Secretary Forests, Ecology and Environment, Madam Sheetal Nanda ji, the Chief Wildlife Warden, Shri Sarvesh Rai ji, the Director, Wildlife Institute of India, Dr. Bhardwaj ji. We have with us the former Secretary of the Ministry of Environment and Forests, Dr. M.K. Ranjit Singh ji. We have our foreign guests here, Dr. Claude Fisher, Dr. Stefano Focardi, Dr. Mario Maletti, Dr. David Javier, and with me on the dais is our Director of Research, Dr. Harun Rashid, our Director of Extension, Dr. Rihana, our Dean Faculty of Forestry, Dr. Arshid, Dr. Khurshid, who is the coordinator of this program, and of the dais we have the distinguished guests, the delegates, the officers from this university, the scientists, students, press and media. A very good afternoon to all of you. As the host of this event, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this second International Conference on Hangul and Ungulate Conservation here at SKUAST Kashmir. Friends, today is a very, very engaging day for the university. One is that we are in this second international conference. The first we had also conducted in this university a decade before. Let me also share with you that today we are celebrating in this university as we have been placed, or rather we are placed in the elite club of the universities of the nation by the very recently released NIRF ranking by the Ministry of Education. For the information of all the guests here, this university stands as the third best state agriculture university in the country. And this is not just a rank for us. It is a mark of resilience for the scientists of this university and the students of this university. We have passed through the very difficult times of almost 3 decades. But despite that, amongst 74, we are the third best. Not only that, some 4,045 institutions had participated in this ranking system of the country, and we stand within 100 as 94th best university in the country amongst all. At the same time, parallelly, there is a review meeting going on in this university, and this review meeting is about one of the biggest social developmental programs launched by the government of Jammu and Kashmir, which we commonly call as HADP. And that's a project which was approved by the Honorable Lieutenant Governor in 2022 at a cost of around 5,000 crore rupees. And let me share with the audience here that that social developmental program was conceived and scripted in this university in 2022. And we are almost 2.5 years through that. And today is going the midterm review of that project. So we as the university feel really very proud and privileged that we are not just a university. We are a socially relevant organization who thinks beyond the students, thinks for the social development. And that is also going. And let me also share with you, in the afternoon, we are going to commission the very advanced animal fiber testing laboratory. And it would be inaugurated by the Secretary Textiles Government of India at 2 p.m. So from this meeting, I will have to rush to the other place to be there at the time. And let me also share with you one good news that later this week, we are going to have an executive development program for the officers of the forest services, Indian Forest Services. And it will be something about climate change, mitigation, and biodiversity conservation. So with these kind of events, which you can think of the way this university is going. These parallel initiatives which I have spoken to you, the wildlife conservation, the agricultural transformation through HADP, and the value addition in animal fibers together showcase the SKUAST Kashmir's integrated vision for sustainability. Coming back to the topic of second international conference on Hangul and other ungulate conservation, this mega event comes at a crucial time when the world is grappling with the twin crises of biodiversity loss and climate change. This year alone, Jammu and Kashmir has witnessed a worrying rise in extreme weather events, particularly the cloudbursts in several districts, which have led to the tragic loss of life, destruction of the property, damage to the crops, and disruption of the infrastructure. What was once considered a rare phenomenon is now occurring at an increased frequency, reminding us that climate change is no longer a distant threat but a lived reality for the people of the region. These events underscore the urgency for strengthening our climate-resilient infrastructure, early warning systems, and community preparedness, while simultaneously redoubling our commitment to conserving the natural ecosystems that provide buffers against such disasters. In such times, the Himalayas stand at the front line, a biodiversity hotspot, and home to some of the most unique species in the world. Among them, the Hangul, which we call as the Kashmiri stag, our state animal and an emblem of our natural heritage, occupies a place of pride. Once numbering in thousands, its population had declined to less than 100 or 120 in 1990s almost. Today, thanks to the concerted efforts of the Wildlife Department, the conservation partners, and our university, the numbers have begun to rise, and steadily they are increasing, and which have risen to around 300 as far as the latest census is concerned. This recovery, though modest, is a sign of hope. It shows that science, policy, and community engagement, when combined, can indeed turn the tide. At SKUAST Kashmir, our scientists, led by Dr. Khurshid Ahmed and his team at the Faculty of Forestry, have been actively engaged in research, habitat studies, training, and outreach. The collaborative initiatives with the Wildlife Department, ranging from habitat restoration, monitoring technologies to awareness programs, have played a crucial role in this encouraging trend of the population of the Hangul. Friends, conserving Hangul is not just about saving a species. It is about preserving the delicate web of life in our forests, maintaining the ecological balance, and ensuring the climate resilience for millions of in the downstream. The Hangul is a flagship species. By protecting it, we also protect the countless other species and the ecosystem they depend upon. But let us remember, the challenges are daunting. The shrinking habitats which we are seeing, the human-wildlife conflicts, the poaching, the climate pressures. Therefore, conferences like this must go beyond the deliberations. They must inspire the innovative solutions. They must think of the partnerships and the commitments that can shape the future of conservation in Jammu and Kashmir and beyond. As we gather here over the coming days, I urge all the participants, the scientists, the policymakers, the students, and the practitioners to use this platform to share the cutting-edge research. We have the experts from around the world and from the country. So lots of experiences they have come up with. We have to build the collaborative networks with both national and international institutions. We have to develop actionable roadmaps for Hangul and other threatened ungulates. And most importantly, to engage communities as allies in this conservation practice. Let's pledge today that we will not allow Hangul, the pride of Kashmir, to slip into silence. Instead, we will ensure it continues to roam our forests as a living symbol of resilience and hope. With these words, I extend a warm welcome to all of you once again and wish this conference a great success and a comfortable and an enjoying experience to our foreign guests here. Let me also compliment the organizers of this conference. The teams which have been working behind this conference for weeks together have made it possible today. I compliment and congratulate you all. I compliment my officers of this university, the Director Research, Dr. Harun, who has been always keeping track of things, your arrangements for the stay, and my other officers as well. So I wish you a very fruitful discussion and deliberations of this conference, and wish you a very nice and a happy time here in this university. Thank you very much. Thank you again. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Your visionary leadership and commitment to institutional strengthening continues to inspire us and guide us. Now, I humbly request Professor Rehana Habib Kant, Director Extension, SKUAST Kashmir, to formally come on the dais for a formal vote of thanks.
Alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. Respected Chief Guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor, distinguished dignitaries, colleagues, faculty, students, research scholars, dear participants, good afternoon. It's my proud privilege and honor to extend the heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of SKUAST Kashmir and the organizing committee of this conference. At the very outset, I express my deep gratitude to our Chief Guest, Professor Nazir Ahmed, Honorable Vice Chancellor, SKUAST Kashmir, for his constant encouragement, guidance, and commitment to conservation and sustainable development. His inspiring presence and valuable words have truly elevated the event. I also thank and acknowledge his visionary leadership, dynamic personality, to make this program possible and also to take our university to the topmost SAU of India. I extend heartfelt gratitude to Madam Sheetal Nanda Ji, IS Commissioner Secretary, Forest, Ecology and Environment, J&K, whose esteemed presence and her lecture has motivated us all. And special gratitude to Shri B.M. Sharma Sahab, IFS Principal Secretary, Department of Culture, J&K, for his words of wisdom. Thank you, sir. We are extremely thankful to Shri Sarvesh Rai, IFS Chief Wildlife Warden, J&K, Dr. G.S. Bardwaj, IFS Director, Wildlife Institute of India, for their invaluable presence and contributions. We are privileged to have with us eminent international experts and conservation leaders, Dr. Susana Gonzalez, Chair IUCN, DSG, Dr. Stefana Focardi, Dr. Claude Fisher, and many other distinguished voices and speakers from across the globe who have enriched this event with their knowledge, perspectives, and commitment. Thanks to all these international voices. I am especially honored and humbled by the gracious participation of legendary wildlife biologist and conservationist, Dr. George Scaler, whose life's work has inspired generations of conservationists, and Ms. Razan Ali Mubarak, President of IUCN, and Her Excellency Princess of Abu Dhabi, whose online presence has elevated this forum to an international milestone. I express gratitude to Director Research, Dr. Harun Naik, Dean Forestry, Dr. Mughal, Director Planning, Dr. Shabir, Registrar, Dr. Azmat, Dr. Nigam from Wildlife Institute, heads of the divisions, Dr. Yashveer Bhatnagar, country representative of IUCN, Mr. Rashid Nakash, regional wildlife warden, Tawheed Deva, IFS, Irfan Ali Shah, IFS. My deepest appreciation goes to all our policy planners, officers from the forest, wildlife, animal and sheep husbandry department, our industrial partners, our scientific community, our faculty, scientists, academicians, young researchers who have actively participated in making this event impactful. I also wish to acknowledge the enthusiasm and presence of our students and participants from India and abroad, whose energy and curiosity reaffirm our faith in the future of conservation. A special thanks goes to all the members of the organizing committee, especially Dr. Khurshid, who has been on tours since a month for organizing this program, and all the colleagues, all the volunteers from SKUAST Kashmir, the support staff, the media representatives who have worked directly and tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure the smooth conduct of the program, and everybody who has been a part of it. As we conclude, let's remember that the Hangul is more than a species. It's the soul of Kashmir's natural heritage. Its survival depends on our shared commitment and unified action. With these words, I once again thank everyone for their presence, support, and contributions. May our combined efforts help the Hangul and other animals flourish once again in the forest of our beloved valley and the Mother Earth. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. With this, we conclude the inaugural session. I request all the dignitaries, delegates, and participants to please proceed outside the hall for a group photograph.